Good morning, everyone. It's Friday, October 25th. I'm John Weigell here with Juliet, Bennett, Ryla, and this is the Hustle Daily Show. In 2004, Febreze, with the help of Shania Twain ads, weird, put out a CD player. The only issue? Instead of playing CDs, the CD player played fragrances. There's no need to say that this product failed miserably, but today we're looking at how the idea originated in the first place and exactly why it flopped so hard and what the hell it even is. We'll chat about that in a bit, but first let's give you the hits and headlines today across business and tech.
Norway is upping its minimum age limit for social media use to 15, with its prime minister saying the nation must protect children from the, quote, power of the algorithms, end quote. It'll be a tough fight to win. The government's existing limit is set at 13, yet research found that 72% of the nation's 11-year-olds are already on social media. So I guess it's hard to keep the kids off social media. I actually remember being a kid that you couldn't keep off the internet myself, so I get it. As you may know, the Hustle Daily, that newsletter is still produced by humans. I am one of those humans, I think. Although after watching Blade Runner, I will say I do get suspicious. But we can't say the same for one of Poland's radio stations. Off Radio Krakow laid off all of its journalists and replaced them with AI-generated presenters. While the radio station said the avatars are meant to reach young listeners on cultural and social issues, over 15,000 people signed a petition opposing the change. The radio station maintains that the layoffs were unrelated to AI, but rather because listenership was close to zero. Over at McDonald's, a bad week is getting worse. The company is now facing a lawsuit related to a recent E. coli outbreak, resulting in 49 illnesses at least, 10 hospitalizations, and 1 death across 10 states. One Colorado man who was hospitalized has filed a claim, and his attorneys say they have 10 more forthcoming plaintiffs. Meanwhile, McDonald's has pointed to slivered onions, the kind you'll find on its Quarter Pounder, as a potential outbreak source, and has stopped serving them in states where cases have been reported. If you're a baseball fan, then you probably already know that the Yankees-Dodgers World Series is the hottest ticket in town, with an average resale price of about $3,900 on the secondary market. And if you were hoping to catch a game in New York, well, the average ticket price is even higher at about $4,900. Speaking of sports, TKO Group, which owns WWE and UFC, went on a $3.25 billion acquisition spree, buying 3 sports businesses, including professional bull riders, the world's largest bull riding league. And finally, Tesla stock jumped as much as 18% on Thursday after the company reported strong Q3 earnings, led in part by its Cybertruck generating a profit for the first time, and projected up to 30% growth in 2025 vehicle sales.
Remember how marketing used to be? Content was simpler to create, leads were easier to capture, and we weren't all spread so thin. Bottom line, marketing used to be fun. But with HubSpot's newly launched marketing and content hubs, you'll generate better content, more leads, and next-level results so marketing can be fun again. With tools like Content Remix to turn existing assets into all new pieces in just a click, lead scoring to shine a light on the leads most likely to purchase, and Analytics Suite to tackle out-of-the-box reports and KPIs with a goldmine of AI-powered insights, it's quick to get you results. It's easy to use, it connects all your teams and data, so put the fun back in your marketing funnel with HubSpot. Visit HubSpot.com to get started for free. Okay, so when you think Febreze, you think of fresh smells and inhaling tons of mist into your lungs. So imagine the public surprise when the company launched a fragrance CD player with the help of Shania Twain, no less. So Juliet, can you tell me first about the origin of Febreze Scentstories?
Yes. In 2004, Procter & Gamble decided for some reason to launch Scentstories. It looks like a CD player. If you saw a picture of it, you'd be like, yeah, I put CDs in there and music comes out. That's not what happened. The CDs were titled with scenarios such as wandering barefoot on the shore or relaxing in a hammock. And instead of music, you got fragrances. There would be like 5 fragrances per disc, and you'd go on a little scent journey. ideally, the idea is like, if you smell one scent for too long, you kind of get used to it. So
Sure.
the fact that it would transition, would be keep it fresh.
Literally keep it fresh.
Mm-hmm.
And what a gamble by Procter & Gamble this was. I have to say, I am surprised. It is very interesting that this is a piece of technology that existed previously, that you put a CD in this thing and then it gives you a smell based on that CD, but it doesn't play actual CDs as well or make any sound. At least like now, if we're in the innovation kitchen for this device, like I'm thinking you would have this CD player for fragrances and that you put in CDs unassociated with fragrances and it just picks a smell for that CD or something, kind of like a mood ring CD smell box or something. That's where my brain goes, at least.
Yeah.
So, right. You would think this product would be a lot of things that it wasn't. Can you explain to me how they exactly marketed this?
Yeah. Let's talk about the most exciting disc that they had. They hired country superstar Shania Twain.
Wow.
And she had her very own disc. And it was themed for the spring. So her scent journey contained fragrances such as daffodils swaying in the breeze and hanging sheets on the line, which, is okay. So like a floral scent and then like a clean linen scent.
Mm-hmm.
The idea was that you'd put the disc in and then you'd sort of have this immersive scent journey where they all kind of had a theme and it would shuffle through these different scents. That was the idea. But yeah, like you said, it just didn't work out. I think people were just really confused by the device. There were a lot of people who were like, yeah, I love Shania Twain. I'm going to buy this CD player looking like object, and I will maybe get some new Shania Twain music. But of course, that's not what happened because it doesn't play music. They also tried licensing the device to Yankee Candle Company, but that didn't work. It retailed for $35, which is about $57 today. And yeah, people were just like, why would I buy this thing when I could just buy a Yankee Candle or perhaps an aerosol spray for much less than this device that takes up space and seemingly does not do much else? It did make a noise. It sounded kind of like a fan, which, if you're somebody who loves sleeping with a fan, there you go. It's some white noise for you. But one product tester, there's a news clip that you can watch of someone going on their scent stories journey. And they said, it didn't feel like I was wandering barefoot on the shore. I'm still in my place, and it really didn't take me away anywhere, which that's the thing. It was not an immersive journey.
No, not an immersive journey, but honestly, a decent idea. Maybe the product didn't really work in practice and confused a lot of the consumers based on the marketing. However, immersive experiences are super popular nowadays, and maybe this was like the beginnings of a brand trying to get in on that trend.
Yeah, a lot of the immersive experiences that I have been to also incorporate scent, sometimes for better, sometimes for worse. I've been to immersive experiences where you're in the woods and then that has nice pine scent. Haunted houses sometimes smell really gross. I've been to some where they intentionally put a rotten egg smell or something. So what's really interesting is that the former Procter & Gamble perfumer, the person who made Scentstories, is named Christophe Laudamiel, and he presented at the Guggenheim Museum in 2009 in New York City a piece called Green Aria, a scent opera.
Wow.
So he actually did create, I guess, what you would consider an immersive experience surrounded by this idea that sort of, I think, manifested better on stage and in theater, and often does, than it did in this product.
Yeah, because it seems like they were trying to put you on a journey of sorts and create a smell story, but didn't exactly have the materials or didn't have you, sitting somewhere in a theater to immerse you fully in the smells and the story that they wanted you to have. But this Christophe Laudamiel is a perfumer, and he has been doing this for a very long time. So that's another impressive person to keep an eye on kind of in this space. But when your company tries to use somebody like that in order to make a product successful and it doesn't work, it may just have been on the idea of the product to begin with.
Yeah. And what's interesting is obviously we did not go to the scent opera, but there is a review in New York Magazine that says it unfolds in the dark, precisely timed to a score of about 15 minutes. 24 fragrances will be pumped out of a scent organ and into scent microphones attached to 148 seats in the museum's theater. The idea is to tell a story using a sequence of smells in conjunction with wordless music. And there were some collaborators you might recognize. Bjork was one of them.
Wow.
So, yeah, I think it's really interesting, this idea of trying to tell a story with scent And it just seems like, yeah, it made for a better artist performance than it did for a product.
Mm-hmm.
During the pandemic, I remember there was a play. It was like a scent-based play by mail, and I ordered it. And it was about a pandemic, but it was about like the plague a long time ago.
Mm.
And she sent you like all these little scents, and then you put them all together, and it created kind of like a hand sanitizer, almost like the thieves oil that people used to use. And it was super interesting. And a lot of it was like, okay, now smell this and think about this thing. And this relates to this other thing. And it was really cool. So I feel like Febreze kind of had something there. It just, the marketing made it seem like it was a CD player, and then people were super underwhelmed.
Yeah, the marketing and the device itself seemed to not deliver what was intended. But could they give it another stab? Who knows? All right, and that's going to do it for us today. Thanks for tuning in to the Hustle Daily Show. We're a proud part of the HubSpot Podcast Network. Our editor today is Robert Hartwig, and our executive producer is Darren Clark. We've got a lot more tech and business coverage in our newsletter. If you're not subscribed, go get yourself signed up at thehustle.co/email, and we'll see you later.
If you're struggling to keep up with all the latest innovations in tech and what they'll mean for your life, TED Tech has you covered. Get ahead of the curve with digestible downloads on some of the biggest ideas in technology, from AI and virtual reality to clean tech. Find TED Tech wherever you get your podcasts.
Hey, what's up, everybody? I've been listening to this awesome podcast lately. It's called Hustle and Flowchart, hosted by Joe Fear, and it's brought to you by the HubSpot Podcast Network, the audio destination for business professionals. The Hustle and Flowchart podcast with Joe Fear is all about how to build a business so it gives you the freedom and fuel for your life. You can join Joe as he discusses systems, mindset tweaks, reframes, and strategies for entrepreneurs and really anyone, to be honest, to enjoy the process of being in business and also having fun. This isn't just for the entrepreneur looking to make $1 billion business, but it's also for somebody who's looking to build systems that work for you so you can make more money than you need just by working part-time, essentially. I was actually just listening to an episode he had on Kareen Walsh behind the app Hey Kareen, and Kareen talked a lot about how to scale your business effectively, especially if you're just a startup, especially if you are just an app startup specifically. It's an awesome episode. I would recommend it to anyone. You can check them out, and you can listen to the Hustle and Flowchart wherever you get your podcasts.